for March the 16th, 2021. I have a few changes to the agenda, or a few additions, I should say. We are going to add at 9A to advertise for an animal control officer and a kennel attendant, and you have job descriptions before you. We are going to add at 10A to accept a grant to purchase a mid-sized mobile generator and add some transfer switches to the sewer lift stations under the hazard mitigation program. Jimmy will tell us about that. It's a 75-25 match. And then at 20A, we are going to add request permission to accept a $5,000 donation from Crime Stoppers for the benefit of the Oxford Police Department. Is that all the changes? Yes, ma'am. All right. Any other changes by any department head? All right. Then I will ask you to accept the agenda with those three changes.
Who we accept?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, a quick mayor's report. We received our sales taxes yesterday, sales tax numbers, and our 2% revenues as well. Sales tax came in at $788,072.58, which is down 18% from last month, but up 9% from January of last year. January is typically lower than December with all of the Christmas shopping, so that's not a huge surprise, but we're relieved to see that it's up 9% from January of last year. Our food and beverage tax came in at $257,927.70, which is up 20% from last month and up 4% from January of last year. Our hotel motel tax is still struggling, and it came in at $14,908.68, which is up 11% from last month, but that's still down 39% from the same month last year. We had a community litter day on Saturday, March the 6th. Thank you to all the volunteers who participated. We had a great group show up, and they picked up 276 bags of litter and barely made a dent because the litter has just gotten so ridiculous in Lafayette County. We have a new litter campaign going. We're going to have another community pickup day, April the 17th. That's also going to be Hazardous Waste Day. We will have some folks picking up litter with the big event. We will also have a new trash tag, hashtag trash tag, that we will be pushing out in the next week. We also have a full-time litter crew that consists of one person, but we're getting there. But anyway, please help us spread the word about picking up litter and participate in the challenges that you'll see coming up for the community. I went to Jackson last week and visited with our legislators and others. And first of all, I want to tell you that Clay DeWeese and Nicole Boyd are doing such a great job representing us and are working so hard in Jackson. I always go with an ask in hand, which doesn't surprise them, but I went this time asking for funds as well, and I hope that Oxford will be included in the bond bill that they will be putting together in about a month. We have got some great things planned for our community this spring, so be looking for announcements of lots of entertainment and fun projects that we'll be announcing in the month of April. The pool is going to open on Memorial Day, and we are in desperate need of some lifeguards. So anybody who is listening, anyone in the audience that has folks that may want to be lifeguards, we welcome that. If you're having a hard time finding a class to get lifeguard training, we actually will be providing some of those classes. So anyone that wants to be a lifeguard, we need you. You've probably seen that we are expecting some severe weather tomorrow. So I would encourage everyone to have their plans in place of where they take cover if we have tornadoes. And you can look at our Twitter and Facebook to see updates. And also, I just posted the link to all of our national weather partners so that you can follow them for up-to-date weather. That is it for the mayor's report. So I will ask the board to authorize the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting on March the 2nd, 2021. I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Sorry, I'll wait on y'all next time. I keep getting ahead of you. Authorize the approval of accounts for all city departments.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? We have 3 aldermen who are present by telephone tonight, as they are in different locations. So we do have a full board here tonight. I will ask you now to consider the consent agenda, letters A through I.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I will ask Donnie Ewing to come forward so that we can recognize him. We're all voting no, that you can't leave. So you got all this crowd here for nothing. We're making him stay. I'm going to read a resolution that we have for you. Whereas Donnie Ewing has been a valuable member of the City of Oxford, working for M-Trade Park since his hire in 2009, establishing himself as a respected and admired resource among his fellow employees, as well as the entire Oxford community. And whereas Donnie Ewing worked for his father, Max Ewing, and then himself, operating and co-owning Ewing Mobile Home Park with his brother Doug Ewing. And whereas Donnie Ewing has served the City of Oxford in his capacity as Assistant Turf Grass Manager with M-Trade Park for 12 years. And whereas Donnie Ewing was an integral part of M-Trade Park, formerly known as FNC Park, from inception. And whereas Donnie Ewing was a most valuable resource to the City of Oxford and M-Trade Park in saving the taxpayers' money with his vast knowledge and skill in heavy equipment and machinery. And whereas Donnie Ewing was integral in installing 12 synthetic turf infields, countless light fixtures, mowing and maintaining turf grounds and common areas, and installing anything electrical for all on-site buildings. And whereas Donnie Ewing has left an indelible mark on M-Trade Park and will most definitely be leaving M-Trade Park better than when he began his career here in March of 2009, his legacy will be in the turf, the buildings, the fields, the trees, and all that he laid his knowledgeable and gracious hands upon. And whereas Donnie Ewing has been a teacher, a friend, and the best storyteller of hunting and fishing trips, as well as of his kids and grandkids. And whereas Donnie Ewing made a lasting impact on the City of Oxford, M-Trade Park, and his service to provide the public with a sports facility that is second to none, while also touching the many lives around him positively for years to come, by which his legacy will be remembered and celebrated in the years ahead. Therefore, be it resolved that the City of Oxford, Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Oxford express their sincere appreciation and gratitude to Donnie Ewing for his excellent career and service to the community, and we extend to him all the best wishes for a happy and enriching retirement. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread upon the minutes of the City of Oxford, and that a copy of the same be presented to Donnie Ewing on this day, the 16th of March, 2021.
I guess it's official. I told him that I did not accept his resignation.
Amen.
I still don't, but since you read the resolution, I guess
We can deny it.
That's right. It hadn't been adopted yet. We didn't vote on it.
Anyway.
That's right.
Thank you. Congrats on your retirement.
Can I speak?
Absolutely. I'd be disappointed if you didn't.
I may get emotional.
That's okay.
But I never thought I'd reach this time in my life to be able to do this. When you work in private business, you don't ever plan on retiring. But anyway, it's been good to work for the city the last 12 years of my life. And I've enjoyed working with these young men. I'm twice their age on most of them, but
And work just as hard.
I think of them as boys, but they're young men. But that park out there, we've had a great team. I've always considered Can I take this off?
You can.
But I've always considered what we do out at FNC was just like a baseball team. You come up with a game plan every week, and it takes each one of us to win. And I've enjoyed working with all these young men and many more. This has been, in the FNC for the last 12 years. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, I enjoyed it, and thank y'all, for the opportunity. I want to thank there's my legacy right there,
That's right.
and I love them dearly. And they surprised me by being here tonight.
Oh, love that. Well, you're gonna surprise them by getting on their nerves being home so much.
They're gonna have trouble finding me.
I hear you.
I wear camouflage every day. But anyway, thank all of y'all, and I do appreciate this.
Thank you, Donnie. That park would not be near what it is if it did not have your fingerprints all over it.
Yeah, somebody
And we
would've
thank
took-
you.
Somebody would have took the place, sure.
We're glad it was you.
Well, at least we got Doug.
Oh, well. All right, could I have a motion to adopt that retirement resolution?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have a proclamation for the Pilot Club. Is anyone here representing the Pilot Club? Okay, I'll read it quickly. Whereas the Pilot Club of Oxford, Mississippi is one of over 500 clubs of Pilot International, a global organization of executive, business, and professional leaders working together to improve the quality of life in local communities and throughout the world. And whereas Pilot International provides guidance and encouragement to our communities through sponsorship of safety and security awareness programs, especially as they relate to brain-related disorders. And whereas each year thousands of Mississippi citizens are diagnosed with devastating disorders of the brain, including Alzheimer's, schizophrenia, autism, and communication disorders, all of which cause considerable pain and suffering. And whereas we are reaching a new era of discovery based on the rapid progress that is being made in the study of the brain and the powerful new tools available to neuroscientists. And whereas hundreds of scientists at Mississippi's premier universities, private colleges, and research institutes are at the forefront of many of the most promising efforts to understand the complexities of the brain to alleviate neurological diseases. Now, therefore, I, Robin Tannehill, Mayor of the City of Oxford, Mississippi, do hereby proclaim the week of March 15th through the 21st, 2021, as Brain Awareness Week, and call this observance to the attention of our citizens. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Oxford, Mississippi, to be affixed this 16th day of March, 2021. Could I have a motion to adopt that proclamation? All right, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next on our agenda is to discuss the current animal control and shelter services management agreement and future. For any of you who were present at our last meeting for the animal shelter discussion, you know what a hot button topic this can be. The animal shelter building was constructed in 2011. I've gathered from questions that I've received that many are confused about the city's relationship with the animal shelter. The City of Oxford knew in 2011 and strongly believes that it is clear that our community wants, values, and needs an animal shelter. The city's obligation is animal control, not animal sheltering. However, in a compassionate community such as ours, we all want options for our homeless animals. To that end, we have traditionally partnered with nonprofits for the management of the facility. Unfortunately, it has become clear that this model of allowing a nonprofit to manage a shelter owned by the City of Oxford has been unsuccessful in every iteration since 2011. The city owns the animal shelter building and pays utilities on the building and provides all maintenance on the inside of the building, as well as the outside to include landscaping. The city provides the salary for the animal control officer and pays an agreed-upon amount based on the number of animals surrendered to the shelter from citizens who reside in the city limits. Lafayette County provides an agreed-upon amount based on the number of animals surrendered from citizens of Lafayette County that reside outside the city limits. 2 weeks ago, in our meeting, we discussed the status of the shelter and heard Chief McCutcheon detail the criminal investigation that had been completed. At that meeting, we did not have a clear plan for moving forward, but I am glad to announce that things have fallen into place that will allow the City of Oxford to start with a clean slate. At our last meeting, I asked this board to approve the appointment of a committee. At that time, this seemed to be a logical path forward. After 2 weeks of vigorous research and exploring all of our options, it has become clear to me that a committee is not our best chance for success and could actually delay implementing measures that our community wants to see in place for the shelter and protection of animals. Knowing the shelter was full of animals in need of a new home and that the shelter suffered from staffing issues, we started researching options for transporting the animals that were currently in the shelter. Things started falling into place when I was contacted by Tim Woodward, who is the Executive Director of the National Nonprofit Animal Rescue Corps. I shared with him our urgent need for placement of approximately 48 dogs who were awaiting adoption. Tim assured me that Animal Rescue Corps would respond quickly and would provide the care for these animals that is so important to us. As of today, as of about 1 o'clock today, all of the animals that were housed at the shelter have now been transported to the ARC Animal Rescue Operations Center outside of Nashville, Tennessee. There, the animals will receive medical exams and daily care until they are matched with ARC's Northern American network of placement partners in high adoption regions. ARC will post a list of Operation Fresh Start placement partners on their Facebook page once the animals are placed. Closing the shelter temporarily is an unfortunate but necessary step to ensure that we are meeting the needs of the animals with a compassionate standard of care that makes our community proud. The help that we're getting from ARC will ensure that Oxford's animals swiftly find placement while receiving world-class care. Our building and grounds supervisor will assess the building tomorrow now that all of the animals have been transported, and we will begin the process of deep cleaning and sanitizing the building. In 2017, when OLHS surrendered their contract, we were without services for more than 6 weeks as we decontaminated the building. All signs point to the building being in much better condition today than it was then, and we hope that we will be able to begin offering sheltering services in the near future. We believe that our best chance for a successful shelter is to begin by bringing in experts who can assess the needs of our particular community, and then create a solid plan forward in view of that assessment and their experience with shelters in other cities all over the country. We want an unbiased evaluation from someone who is an expert in the field and who is not currently, nor has ever been, connected to local agencies or individual interests. We want someone to assess our needs with a singular focus on protecting animals. I'm asking the board to consider a contract that's before you with Tim Crum and Animal Shelter Services. Animal Shelter Services is a leading full-service consulting company dedicated to helping animal shelters operate efficiently and effectively. This company's been around for 13 years. They would begin by performing an assessment to see how the shelter can be run more efficiently and effectively. They will provide a comprehensive evaluation of the animal shelter. Since our shelter will be empty, they will evaluate the space, the setup, prior management contracts, and try to determine what worked and what didn't work, and make recommendations for getting back on track. They will help us determine the best plan for management of the shelter, and will help us develop and implement a successful shelter program. They'll advise us on every aspect from daily oversight to fundraising, public relations, a budget, policies and procedures, off-site adoptions, and even pet transport. The final product will be the development of standard operating procedures, including procedures and practices that are essential to our shelter's day-to-day operations and are essential to establishing a good work environment and a reputation in the community. Once we have a plan, this is an organization that offers on-site training and can provide interim leadership or specialized recruitment services to find highly qualified candidates for director. Tim states that he can be here in 3 to 4 weeks. So if the board accepts the contract that you have before you, Tim will let us know the date that he'll arrive, but he's committed to begin or to be here in one of the first 2 weeks of April. The contract total is $22,500, which is all inclusive. It includes all the travel and all. The Board of Supervisors has agreed to share that fee for those services with the city. In the meantime, we will be interviewing for an animal control officer. I'm about to ask you all to authorize the approval to advertise for an animal control officer and for a kennel attendant. We have OPD who will be performing animal control until this hire is made. Animals picked up from animal control will be housed at the animal shelter, and we are in the process of hiring kennel attendants to care for those animals. We will not be accepting surrenders until the shelter is reopened. In researching successful shelters in Mississippi and really across the Southeast, it became obvious that those that were most successful had large donors or corporate partners. I've begun to try to secure a partnership that would help us be most successful, and I'll continue to pursue a corporate sponsor. I'm hopeful that when we reopen the doors, that all the citizens who are interested in volunteering and helping with the animals will do so, and will donate their time and money to help us have the best animal shelter in the state. Our community deserves it. Our community wants it. We are going to focus on the animals and not get caught up in the warring factions. We are going to find a management team and develop a budget and find partnerships that are positive and focused, not on hateful rhetoric, but on taking care of homeless animals that need our help. The management contract with Mississippi Critters has been mutually terminated. We will move forward from here, and we will have a cooperative move out of the building this week and start to get it repaired. So anybody's welcome to ask questions, make comments, talk about the contract that you have before you to conduct the animal shelter evaluation and provide consulting services. So I'll throw that out there to y'all.
Mayor, you answered my question about when you said that Colin Thompson also helped him once he got done. You said some of the things he could do. I was wondering if we would get charged extra for him doing some of those things.
No, that is the, you can see listed there, the services provided on page 7.
I see that.
And he reduced his fee, as you see, because he took out the animals, that he will not be evaluating the health and care of animals and that kind of thing because it will be empty.
Did he say how long he anticipates?
He said most of the time they stay in a community for about 4 days and hope to have a report within 10 days.
Within what, I'm sorry?
Within 10 days. He said most of the time they're there for 4 days, and then, so it'd be kind of a 2-week process is how I understand it.
He'll give us information that things we need to start doing.
Absolutely.
While he's here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as I said, the county has agreed to share in the cost of this, which they approved at their meeting yesterday.
50-50 split.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
I think we should approve, but I want to say thank you to Dr. Antonell and to the mayor for researching all this and taking this upon yourself to deal with and really do a thorough job of getting us something. I think that we are moving in the right direction. So do appreciate that. So I'll make a motion that we accept this contract.
I'll second that.
All right. So we have a motion and second to accept the contract for animal shelter evaluation. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next, I will ask you to approve the advertisement for an animal control officer and kennel attendant.
Move we approve.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you. All right. We will keep everyone posted as we move forward with this process. All right. Discuss COVID-19 current restrictions and guidelines and outdoor dining and temporary signs. And just as a reminder, we, at our last meeting, determined that temporary signs would begin being enforced beginning tomorrow. So unless anyone wants to change that date, we just said we would keep that on there for, constant analysis. So that will be up to any of you to determine. I'm going to get Jimmy data continues to drive our decisions, and so we'll get Jimmy to come give us an update as he does every meeting. As he's done every meeting for a year. March the 18th was our first COVID case in 2020.
Yep.
Seems like yesterday and 15 years ago at the same time, doesn't it?
Exactly.
short and long.
It does, it does.
Today, the state reported 369 cases statewide, and 27 deaths statewide. Here in Lafayette County, we went to 5,842, which is an increase of 7 new cases for today. Statewide, the highest incident rate is in Yalobusha County. They're sitting at 51.9, where we are 24th in the state at 17.7 per 100,000. So that's looking a lot better. In total, we've had 114 deaths here in Lafayette County, and as of yesterday, we have 79 active cases that are reported. Our vaccination site has vaccinated with first and second shots 22,521 Lafayette County residents, but overall, the site has done, as of today, 46,891 vaccinations. So
Some
you
of
can
our
see-
surrounding counties, don't have sites, so.
Exactly, and they're coming into our sites and everything. We have a very good run site. The health department people and the National Guard people out there are top notch. There's none better in the state. I'm out there every day, and I will tell you, we have the best site in the state.
I can vouch for Jimmy, he's there every morning. When I'm taking Henry to school, I see him.
Wonderful.
Jimmy is on top of it, which is one of the reasons it runs so well.
I see him with a donut in his hand every time I drive by.
Miss the chocolate milk.
There are many shots available online for people who want to sign up, and Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong, but right now vaccinations are being given obviously for free at our drive-through site at the National Guard Armory, at Walmart, at Kroger, and they will begin at some pharmacies, I understand, in the coming days. I'm not sure which ones, so I just won't list any, but as soon as we know for sure, I'll post them, on our social media. But I think that we are headed for sure in the right direction with vaccinations.
Yes, and we're a Pfizer site only, so if people are wanting other vaccines, you can go on the website and you can see, like Batesville, it's a mixture of Moderna, Pfizer, and the Johnson & Johnson. So it just depends on what your preference is on where you can go to.
And I believe that some of the sites, I can't remember if it's Walmart or Kroger, one of those is giving Johnson & Johnson. Do you remember which one it is?
I'm not sure on that one.
I'm not either.
I know the university.
But Kroger or Walmart, one of those two, so check and see. And the university is now offering shots for everyone on campus, students and
Correct.
faculty.
Yes.
And one other number that we always point out is our hospitalization. And, as of yesterday, we had 181 staffed beds. I'll remind you, there are 217 beds in the hospital, but 181 that are staffed right now. As of yesterday, there were 8 COVID patients in the hospital, and there were 43 beds available. There are 24 staffed beds in ICU. As of yesterday, there were 3 in ICU with COVID, and there were 8 ICU beds available. So we're still in really good shape with our hospital numbers. So Jimmy, looking back over this report and over the last 2 weeks, our numbers have been very consistent, I should say, and down, but we have these 2 large numbers that were the 11th and 12th. Can you speak to that?
I look back at the data and looking at the active case list, and it looked like there was, I hate to call it a data dump, but it looked like a data dump from some of the labs, because some of the cases that were new were actually several days old coming
Right.
onto the list. So instead of trickling on at 7, 8, 9 new cases a day, they got dumped on those 2 days that jumped our numbers.
Makes those numbers reflect
Which is why we
that.
had 1, 0, and 2, and that kind of thing.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
right, from those days previous that week. All right, does anybody have any questions or anything they want to discuss under COVID restrictions?
Not COVID restrictions, but since we were talking about temporary signs,
Yeah,
might want to remind all the candidates not to put their signs on the right-of-way.
Correct.
And
Great
that
point.
there's some restriction on the size of signs in residential areas.
that's right. So temporary signs will begin to be enforced again tomorrow. So does anybody have any issue with that, or does anybody want to discuss that?
No issue.
All right, then we will start enforcing that tomorrow. And so businesses that have temporary signs We will certainly not start by giving tickets. We'll start by reminding everyone that, what is within, code and what is not. So we'll start doing that, and we'll give it a several weeks process for people to be able to get back in compliance. Outdoor dining. At our last meeting, we decided to let them go through the end of March. Is that right, Bart? Yeah, I think Mark also wanted to bring that back up, if I remember, to discuss the date. What's your input on that?
I'd still like to see it go through April. I mean, numbers are down, weather's getting better. So,
Well,
to
and,
me, the outdoor dining
I
for
mean,
the restaurants would be good to continue.
I think from the email that, still a lot of people that, we all got the same ones. I think it's almost like something we should leave open for people that don't want, still don't want to retire.
Yeah, I think that's great.
And we revisit in April.
Okay, so we'll revisit it at our second meeting
In April.
in April. Is that good with everyone? Good with y'all? All right, so the outdoor dining that's currently in place, we will revisit our second meeting in April. All right, we added at 10A that we would accept, that we would ask you to accept a grant to purchase a mid-sized mobile generator and add some transfer switches to the sewer lift stations under the hazard mitigation program.
Yes, 2 years ago, we had the ability to apply to the state for hazard mitigation money from disasters that comes into the state, and we came up with the project of a mid-sized 45 kW generator and transfer switches for lift stations. So in the case of a ice storm or a major power outage, we could move that generator from lift station to lift station to pump the tanks out, and that way we wouldn't put our sewage system into a backup type situation. Well, Friday, we got the letter saying that FEMA had approved the project and we could move forward if we accepted it. And it breaks down, the total project cost is estimated at $35,413. It's a 75-25 grant match, so the Fed share would be $26,560 and the city share would be $8,853.
Yeah, I think
Motion to approve.
this really,
I think Mark maybe just made a motion.
oh, good.
Yeah.
All right,
Second it.
Yes, thank you.
all right. And
Good
Jimmy?
job, Jimmy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes, we appreciate you, Jimmy. Jimmy is so diligent about seeking out funding opportunities for the city, and we appreciate it so much. So we've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Jimmy. Matt Davis is coming up to discuss the Townie Tuesday parking program.
All right, as you know, in January, we, y'all, approved to extend Townie Tuesday until April the 6th. And since this is kind of our last meeting in February, or March, excuse me, months are just, sorry.
I'm with you. Days of the week, month.
But this will be kind of the last time that we'll be able to do it before that actual Tuesday. So I just wanted to see if the board wanted to continue or we wanted to cease. It has been great. I don't think I've had any negative feedback whatsoever. No issues revenue-wise. So just kind of want to see what your thoughts were.
Okay. You know,
I'm getting positive feedback from our business and other merchants on the square that I think it's been very successful.
okay. Anybody else?
The only comment I would say is I think we just need to continue to find ways to, maybe social media, to find ways to make sure people know about it.
Yeah, we usually post it every Tuesday, but I don't know how much traction it gets. Okay, we'll keep doing that. All right, so how long do you want to extend it?
Why don't we extend it like through, at least through recreation, so that's his opportunity to come and shop, that's the local business.
Through the first meeting in May.
Okay, that sounds great. We'll look at it again the first meeting in May. So is that a motion?
Sure.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Get Kate Kenwright to come up and request permission to amend the MDAH CLG grant for the historic survey. Good
evening.
Good evening.
So, we're in the midst of our CLG grant project. You'll recall that we accepted that grant in November of 2020 with the goal of updating all of our surveys in our historic districts and taking a look at the National Register districts and if those nominations needed updating. So after receiving the surveys from the consultant and discussing it with her and with the Department of Archives and History, we have sort of a revised goal for the outcome of our project. And it'll involve amending our local district boundaries to line up more with our National Register boundaries. We're not going to be changing the amount of the grant or substantially changing the number of locally protected resources. So it's just sort of an administrative change to the contract.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Kate?
Yeah, Kate, so the, Depot District and Jefferson Madison, are they being incorporated into the other two districts, or?
That's exactly right. So
Okay, good.
we have 3 National Register districts and 5 local districts. So basically what we're doing is incorporating the Depot District into our North Lamar District and the Jefferson Madison into South Lamar.
Good.
Just, people are confused when they go to look it up, their National Register listing is different from their local listing. We want to make it more clear.
That makes sense.
Okay. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
All right, is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Jimmy, request permission to accept a donation of hand sanitizer and masks from Marshalls.
Yes, Marshalls had actually contacted the mayor's office, and they were getting out of the mask and sanitizer business, and they asked if the city would accept the donation, and I went and picked up, I think it was about 12 cases, and when I mean cases, large cases, of kids' masks, boys and girls, and adult masks, and then hand sanitizer, that we finally got it separated out into the different types and stuff. So it was a very generous contribution that will get distributed out to the community.
So, you did all this before we ever accepted?
We've just got it in a bucket. We have not distributed it.
Haven't distributed it, yes.
We can still give it back.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Request permission to accept a donation of $2,000 from Ron Aldridge for the purchase of litter grabbers. These litter grabbers will be used as part of our new Don't Throw Down on Oxfordtown litter initiative.
Yes, ma'am. Amberlyn and Michelle couldn't join us tonight, so they asked if I would cover this for them, and it is exactly what it says, $2,000 to purchase those little nifty nabbers where they can pick litter up off the ground.
That is so generous. We are so appreciative. Do we have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Request permission to approve a sole source purchase from Setco, Inc. in the amount of $23,960.28 for junkyard dog tires for a John Deere loader at the transfer station. I don't think Bo Reagan's here.
Oh, Reagan is here? I'm like Coach Howell. Maybe he called in.
Yeah. Bart, you got anything on that?
I don't, I do know the solid tires that we use at the transfer station, and there's only one manufacturer.
Well, then it's easy to figure out who to get them for. Ron?
I move we, approve.
JYD.
He's got the invoices attached to
Right,
your,
Yeah.
okay. All right. A motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Request permission to declare equipment surplus in the Oxford Fire Department and authorize its disposal. Come on up.
Like to surplus the iPhone from Station 1.
All right. Anybody got any questions about the iPhones from
If you have
Station
any
1?
questions, contact Joey Gardner.
That's right. I love
If he
it.
had to come, we just can't put these on a
Depends.
the consent doc?
They're easier to find within, like, we try to make them individual items for the office and find them. It helps with our inventory to be able to locate them. All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hey, I got a
Thank you.
question.
Thanks for being here.
Actually, I got a question that, could we do a separate consent agenda that had just declaring surplus stuff? Okay.
Thank
Just an idea.
Thank you. Request permission to transfer a vehicle from the Development Services Planning Department to the Building and Grounds Department. Hollis?
It's the 1997 Cherokee.
It's a real prize, y'all.
Yeah, Greg wants it and we don't.
Like, I'm not sure if we're doing him a favor or not by giving it,
So
but.
moved.
Second.
And the painter's gonna use it, isn't that right? Yes. All right, a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Request permission to apply for Mississippi Office of Highway Safety Impaired Driving Enforcement Training grant for FY 21-22 in the amount of $599,269.45. Chief?
This is our annual DUI grant that we apply, no match.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, request permission to apply for a Mississippi Office of Highway Safety Impaired Driving Enforcement Training grant for FY 21-22 in the amount of $119,709.67.
This is, the training grant that we do each year, no match. This allows us to go throughout the state training on impaired driving.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, request permission to apply for a Mississippi Office of Highway Safety Police Traffic Services grant for FY 21-22 in the amount of $15,997.
This is our occupancy protection grant, our seatbelt and child safety, seat grant.
No match.
No match.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and we had an addition to our agenda at 20A, request permission to accept a $5,000 donation from Crime Stoppers for the benefit of the Oxford Police Department.
This was a donation that they've given us with no match on it as well.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, John Crawley, request permission to accept the bids and award the contract for the Slack Road Lift Station project.
Yes, we opened bids last Tuesday. This is to upgrade the lift station on Slack Road right at the entrance to the new Bell Rivers. Existing lift station is very old. We've upgraded it, to be adequate for a little while longer, but we wanted to go ahead and replace it, so we recommend it.
Do we approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, consider a contract with A2H for Phase 2 professional services for the Oxford Conference Center roof replacement project.
Yes, so phase one was actual just, to determine the scope of services. This contract would actually be to prepare bid documents and construction drawings to replace the roof on the Armory and Conference Center. I should also say, with consent of council, there were 2 or 3 issues in the contract that you have on hand that will have to be ironed out, so contingent upon that.
If you make a motion, please do it subject to council's approval.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Bart, consider a resolution finding certain city property to be surplus and authorize the sale of said property pursuant to Mississippi Code Section 21-17-1.
And you got the resolution in front of you with the, and it's a piece of property we own jointly with Lafayette County that we have had appraised and are looking to declare surplus.
Well, we've talked about it, among us, I know,
Yeah.
at other times. I'll make a motion that we declare surplus.
I'll second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consider an agreement with the University of Mississippi for the maintenance and repair of the rifle range located at the National Guard Armory, Oxford Conference Center. Bart?
You approved this several months ago, and it went to them for their approval. They made some changes, nothing of any substance. The value is the same. The changes were such as, instead of between the city and the University of Mississippi Athletic Foundation, it's between the city and the University of Mississippi. Those are the type of changes we made, so we just
But we have to approve.
Yes.
We better accept it. They're third in the country. They'll take us out.
That's right.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Consider agreement number 1 to the general services agreement between the City of Oxford and Wagner Engineering and authorize the mayor to sign and execute task order number 4.
we entered into this agreement in 2017, and obviously their schedule of fees has changed since then. We're just asking you to authorize this amendment and authorizing task order number 4, which will allow funds for us to apply for future grants and use them for future engineering services.
Move we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Awesome, thank you. Wagner Engineering is such a valuable resource for us. Consider a request from Visit Oxford for the installation of a mural.
So I think everyone is.
One of the exciting things that's gonna happen in
I've had
April.
Several of you
hopefully.
called me about which wall are we talking about, want to know exactly where it was behind City Hall, and it is the wall on the north side of the big parking lot behind City Hall, the tall, concrete wall between the parking lot and East Jackson Avenue. And this is obviously funded, in large part by the Mississippi Heritage Hills Foundation grant that we've applied for. It is some in-kind match, and it is about, 25% real money match, but the majority of it's in-kind.
How much?
The overall price is about $25,800, about $5,000 of it is city money. There's another $15,000 that are in-kind services that we say our time for cleaning the parking lot, our time for getting prep, our time, that type of in-kind service.
We got a $20,000 grant.
And the
Yeah.
grant is $20,000.
So,
Great.
on making sure I'm finding where this is.
The wall where the parking's at the top, like the parking next to David Hill's condos,
Oh, yeah.
the wall beneath that, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right by the crepe
Do
myrtle.
that.
It's only like, it's a little taller than that, but I mean, it's.
Yeah, it's tall.
It's tall enough.
It's
It's
tall
pretty
enough,
tall, I think it's
yeah.
probably 10 feet tall.
I would guess 10 feet.
Certainly brighten up that dull parking lot.
Yeah, be a fun.
I'll make
like,
a motion
people
to
that-
approve.
Firewall all the way down?
Second.
It's not, for people to throw, it's gonna be a dartboard. It's not the entire wall. It's large, but I can't tell you the percentage it
Okay.
covers, but it is not from one end to the other.
I move we approve.
Second.
All right, any other questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. I would ask the board to consider an executive session.
Move we consider executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?